Hey everyone, this is Rebecca. Hey, I just wanted to give you a heads up. Again, this is our episode 5 of our ACOTAR miniseries. So if you have not read ACOTAR, there will be spoilers. Also, if you have not read Crescent City, we have spoilers and some things in there as well. So if you want to continue listening, you're more than welcome. Hey, book babes, welcome back to Two Girls, One TBR, your chaotic book besties here to wreck your reading list, one morally gray man at a time. I'm Rebecca, still deep in the Night Court and Mortal World's chaos, obsessed with powers, secrets, and morally gray scheming. You can find me at Azrella Reads on Instagram and at TikTok.
And I'm Chelsea. If I'm not narrating, I'm devouring every romantasy book I can find. My TBR is a beautiful mess over at Chelsea in Chapters. Tonight, we're picking up where we left off, diving into the deeper Night Court and Mortal World secrets, hidden powers, and the fan theories that might blow your mind.
Now, as you know, the last episode that we did the villains of Prithian, and we had a lot of theories. Now, remember, everybody, these theories are not always necessarily our theories, but these are the ones that we have found.
So chill.
But now the one that did seem to ruffle the most feathers is the one where we mentioned that Rhysand could possibly have had a child, possibly with Amarantha or someone else. That has gotten us a tremendous amount of comments and whatnot, actually over on TikTok more than anything. But
Yes.
I thought that was interesting. But how much?
And I wanna point out too on that one because I really liked so for people that haven't seen our TikTok yet, one of the big ones was about the eyes because she said they were blue. Well, let's remember that violets are blue, roses are red, violets are blue. So when we're talking about Reese's eyes, they're not necessarily bright purple. And
A lot,
that's my little tangent there that we need to discuss.
because that seems to be a big problem people have had with that particular theory. But there's some reason why the Bone Carver did that. I'm still myself personally, I'm not 100% sold that that truly was Nyx,
Yeah.
because I think he's a little shifty. The Bone Carver, I don't think he was there just to show her pleasantries and show her child. I think he was showing her something, because I don't think he's necessarily on the up and up, the Bone Carver.
Yeah. And not only that, but okay, then other people were getting all crazy about the wings. And it wasn't known. People are like, "Oh no, then Amarantha would have had it with wings." And it's like, "No, his wings weren't out." And if you read into what it said, they both had their wings out when Nyx was conceived and that's why he had wings.
Yes.
So there were people that were like kind of getting sassy about that and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know about that one."
Well, and then some people also suggested too that it is possible that Nyx might be able to make them disappear like Rhysand and Feyre.
Oh, I hope so. Cuz
But
that'd be
I'm
so
thinking
cute.
if he can make them disappear, I don't know, would he have been born that way and actually have them out, or is he going to be like Cassian and Azrael and have them out all the time?
Yeah, and when Reese was little, was he born with them? And then
I
he
don't know.
learned how to put them away? Like, we don't know that part.
No.
So this is still an open-ended theory that we're still working with.
Well, really and truly, there's only so much information that we know about Rhysand as a child. We know a little bit about when he was at the war camp with Cassian and Azrael and his mom. We know that little bit, but before that, we don't really know anything. And his
Right.
sister, well, now we know that his mom, of course, she had her wings because they were out all the time, and his sister had hers out all the time because Tamlin's dad removed them from both the mom and the sister. So hers must have been permanent, that she didn't make them disappear. Hmm, it's interesting. I think
Very
there's more to that
interesting.
theory. I think as time goes on, I think we may see a little bit more.
Yeah.
But truly the thing is how much of Prithian's history is a myth and how much of that just got buried? Because
Hmm.
we don't know. Now, since the last time we talked, of course, we looked up a few things that we
Uh-huh.
didn't know and whatnot. That we did find out with the Witch of Oorid. We were talking about this. That's more legend than character. It's an eerie figure said to dwell in the Bog of Oorid. That's that area in the middle.
In the middle.
Feared for her dark magic and blood rituals. She's never named or directly encountered in ACOTAR, but they mention her. It says the Witch of Oorid is part of the myth surrounding the Bog of Oorid, a place steeped with dread and superstition. According to Illyrian lore, witches were banished to the bog by the High Lords, and they're believed to drink young blood to fill the coldness left of their magic. This chilling imagery fuels the fear surrounding the area, especially with the Illyrians. So these big Illyrian, warriors are afraid of the bog.
Yeah. Um,
So that's
and
interesting.
that's funny because none of the Fae really talk about that. So the Illyrian are also still very,
Wait,
I don't
no,
know.
wait, is it in the middle or is it more up by the Illyrian mountains where this is
No, I
at?
think the bog was in the middle because that's
Hmm.
where, remember it's the Highburn people, right? That are like under a trance.
Yes,
They
it
were
was
walking through.
Autumn Court,
Yeah,
the Autumn Court soldiers, and they were in that. It was very creepy, and it was very creepy. Now, that was mentioned, the Ura. Now, we do know that, Nesta went there and was with, Azrael and with Cassian there,
right.
but the mention of it, that was from Lanthus. That's when Nesta and Cassian, or was it Nesta? I don't know if it was Nesta and Cassian or Nesta and Azrael. They went into the prison, and that's where she had to deal with Lanthus. They said, "What if the real monster,"
Cassian
was
was
it
with her.
Cassian was with her? Okay.
Yeah.
What if the real monster in the prison wasn't the one chained there, but the truth he spoke? Now, this is a little information on Lanthus. Now, he appears in the Court of Silver Flames from chapters 57. They said he was one of the first gods, an ancient immortal, predating the courts. So this was before any of the High Lords. They said they believe that he hints towards being a Death Lord, that he could have had a dominion over endings, decay, and fear. I'm not sure where they got that, but that's what I've seen. And they said he's at least 15,000 years old, though he never admits that that might be an underestimate. So he might be much, much older even than that.
Okay.
Um, and his appearance, because I had forgotten what he looked like, because again, it's been a long time since I've read it. They said when he takes shape, his golden skin of a male of average height, but he's beautiful in an unsettling way, in an inhuman way, and he can shift into mist, wind, and rain, which makes him almost nearly impossible to kill. Because remember, Nesta had a hell of a time trying to kill him and Cassian.
Yeah. It almost reminds me of Bryaxis. Bryaxis.
Yeah, because he kind of does that kind of thing too.
He's kind of like a shadowy, misty thing. Yeah.
Cassian's terrified of him.
Mhm.
I just want to
Yeah.
know, what does Cassian see? If he ends up when we get a better visual of him and he's not, it makes me laugh. But now the other thing too, also he spoke the old language and he understand what was the name of Nesta's sword? Is it
Ataraxia. Atarax. Yeah.
okay? That is the old language, and he understood and he used it to taunt and manipulate Nesta during the prison trial. Because he was interesting. He said, I rode in the wild hunt before you were even a scrap of existence, Witch of Oorid. That is what he said. And he said that to her in chapter 54.
I'm starting to think that the old language is like in Throne of Glass with the whole word marks
It could be.
and
Now
all
that I
that.
now
That
since I've
Nehemia, yeah, and in Throne of Glass, Nehemia knows the old language. Amryn knows the old
mhm.
language. So it's like I'm kind of making that connection as we're going through this. That maybe that's all the same thing.
Now also, as you know, I'm starting Crescent City,
Yes.
and they talk about the old language too, because Rune was researching um up the horn and stuff. He was researching in the archives and he was reading the old language and having to translate it.
Yeah.
So you can tell there's some interconnections happening here.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that's very interesting because remember when Nesta though when she's talking to, do you pronounce it Lanthes? Is that how you pronounce his name?
In my head, yeah.
Okay.
Lanthes. Yeah.
But he is really her turning point of her arc
Hmm.
because he tests her with her control. he tempt her with illusions, because remember, he showed her as ruling as a queen with him, remember? Because
I
that's
don't
what he
remember
does.
that.
Because he shows her, like, with all this, that she could be queen and rule with him. He mocks her found power. Instead of breaking, Nesta resists him. It's the first time she asserts her command over her magic instead of being ruled by it. But his presence, of course, deepens the gothic tones of the prison, because he was creepy.
Yeah,
So, I mean, she killed him, but did she really kill him, or did they just incapacitate him enough to put him back?
that's what I
Because
think.
I think a lot of these death gods, I don't think just little Nesta running around is going to kill them and stuff like that.
Yeah,
If they're a death god, I think they come back together, rematerialize.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
That's why I don't think the Bone Carver's dead. I don't think the Weaver's dead.
Striga is dead.
But are we 100? But they said she's dead. But do we think she could rematerialize? She's a death god.
But I think they can still be killed because the King of Hybern snaps her neck and then throws her down into the Naga beast things. And I think they can be killed.
Unless it's just her mortal form that she's in, because that's just the image that she took on. Because remember,
Yeah.
the reason she looked young was because she ate people and put their hair on
Yeah.
her roof.
Yeah, I don't know. My opinion is she's gone. She's done.
How about the Bone Carver?
I'm trying to remember. I think Bone Carver's gone too because he looks over at Feyre. I think I made a note about that one. I think the only one that survived was Bryaxis.
Hmm. I don't know. See, that's just the part to me. It just feels like with them being a death god that they died awfully easy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It just it just feels too much. Now, when Lyanthe, though, I don't know why I'm calling Lyanthe Lanthus. There we go. I don't know. I'm thinking Ianthe
It was a mix
is
between
what I'm
both.
thinking. But Lanthus there, now he references to the Wild Hunt, which invokes like a mythic terror across Sarah's universes. Do they mention the Wild Hunt in other series? Because they said there's similar spectral hunts appear in Crescent City, suggesting a shared mythic template. Now, again, I'm only on book 1, so I have not experienced anybody yet in a spectral hunt. So I don't know. This is just notes that I seen on the internet.
I feel like I need more context. I don't know.
Well, maybe as I read, maybe I'll figure something out. But now
Yeah.
the Witch of Oorid, of course, line appears or implies the Bog of Oorid. That's, the
Mhm.
creepy place. But they said it may be a fragment of the same ancient magic that birthed the first gods.
Mhm.
But his mastery over myths and fear parallels the Umbra Mortis, that's from Crescent City,
Yeah.
and the Shadow Singer archetypes elsewhere in the mass multiverse, which fuels speculation of a broader shared origin.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
what did you
Hold on.
find?
I found my note about the Bone Carver. Okay,
Okay,
so and this is why I think he's gone. Is that
my nose itch.
so I'm remembering I'm remembering that okay, so the Bone Carver was down in there with all the Illyrians, and that's when Nesta calls out Cassian's name to distract Cassian to get him to come because she knew, she felt that something was gonna happen right there, and the Bone Carver was in the midst of it, and Feyre swears that she saw a smile on the Bone Carver's face as it happened. Her bargain tattoo disappears, and he wanted her to get the Ouroboros to make sure that his end that he maybe had already carved was a worthy ending.
Mm,
So, if he
interest.
carved
So,
his own ending, that it was like a worthy one, and he wanted to make sure that Pharaoh was worthy of his help and his death.
okay, interesting. So,
So that's why I think
so,
he's gone.
all right. So we're gonna rule it right now that we feel that Strega, right, or
Yeah.
Strega, or
Striga and
the Bone
the Bone
Carver
Carver.
are dead. This is something interesting because this must come from lore. Because my grandma, she's Italian, or she was Italian, and she would always call us in Italian little stregas, which meant witch.
That's
But
funny.
I never thought anything of it. Growing up, she always said
Yeah,
that, and then when I read it in there, I was like, "Wonder where's that?" So it must be coming from something with it, but that's always how we translated it, as a little witch. But my
I love
grandma
it.
would say that. Now
That's
now
awesome.
let's now this section here, now what I'm gonna say here, this here is pure fan theory. There's no confirmed canon with any of this stuff. But the Seven Ancients theory, fans propose that Lanthus could be one of the last of the Seven Ancients. I don't know what that means. Beings who fractured reality long ago, explaining the crossworld echoes between ACOTAR and Crescent City. I don't know what
Okay.
that means because, again, I'm only at the beginning of that one, so maybe there's something. Then they say the multiverse connection, of course. If true, the Wild Hunt might be a dimensional phenomenon, not just a Prithian legend, meaning that Lanthus' power once spanned realms, so he wasn't just there in Prithian. And then, of course, Nesta's witch heritage by calling her the Witch of Oorid. Lanthus may be recognizing her as reborn from the Cauldron's deepest magic, possibly the same cosmic source that powers the drop in Crescent City.
Hmm.
It's interesting.
Yeah. But now, how much have you gotten to the part about the drop in Crescent City about
I
how?
I don't I only know bits and pieces of it. I know her friend that's like the little fawn girl. I know she went through the drop.
Uh-huh.
And then but Bryce has not. I know that they have to have an anchor. I
Yeah.
know that part, and I know they basically die or are at the brink of death, and then they get pulled back by whoever their anchor is when their magic something happens with their magic, and then part of their magic is given to the Asteri?
Right. So that's
Okay,
why,
that's what I
like,
know.
I don't think that the drop is a necessary thing, though. And that's why, like, that theory, I don't know about it. Like, something isn't adding up for me because the drop is not a necessary thing in order for them to get their power.
But is it to make them? Because I thought the drop was necessary for them to become immortal. That's what I've read in Crescent City. Because Bryce hasn't done the drop yet, so she's not immortal yet.
But that's like an illusion that's been spun by the Asteri.
Oh,
And
okay,
that's
so
why I'm
that's
saying,
something I
like,
don't know yet. Okay.
yeah, so, like, I can't remember exactly, like, the inner workings of that, like, if it's absolutely necessary for them to come into their full power, or if the Asteri just made it that way,
Mm.
or made them believe that. That's where I'm, like, a little bit confused because how is it that none of them are born, like, full Fae with all their full Fae powers like they are in Prythian?
Well, now, see, now
Their
this since
magic
we're talking
system's a little different.
well, now, see, now this is a little bonus theory I've discovered again since I've been
Mhm.
reading Crescent City. This is something that I found that this is again not ours. This is a fan theory that what if the cauldron is like the drop? Did the Archeron sisters go through the Prythian's version of the drop? While most fans assume that Feyre, Nesta, and Elaine's power came directly from the Cauldron, a compelling theory that argues that the sisters actually went through the Prythian's version of the drop, a life and death transformation ritual seen in Crescent City. When Feyre died in ACOTAR and was remade by the High Lords, Rhysand acted as her anchor, just like the drop partner does in Crescent City, that keeps someone tethered while their magic stabilizes. Similarly, when Nesta and Elaine were forced into the cauldron, they may have experienced a parallel transformation, the cauldron drop, emerging with raw, ancient magic that the world has not seen since before the courts were formed. Now, this is the evidence and the connections. This is where people are connecting these dots, if they're true. In Crescent City, the drop allows mortals to ascend to immortality by channeling pure magic, often requiring an anchor to survive. In ACOTAR, Feyre's rebirth involved her body dying and being reforged by the combined powers of the High Lords, a near identical energy transformation, complete with Rhys being an emotional and magical anchor for her. Now, Nesta, power from the cauldron, manifests like a being who's gone too deep. She stole from it instead of just surviving it. suggesting her draw went further than intended. Now, Elaine, her seer abilities echo Crescent City's concept of residual awareness. The magic she experienced could be a byproduct of being connected to realms beyond Prithian.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so another support for this would
Okay.
be when Rhys dies in Akawar, and he says that Feyre's voice kept him tethered, basically, or that he could hear her, and that was his reason why he reached out to Amryn and came back on top of the High Lords, giving them their little seeds of power.
Yes.
But then one against it would be then, okay, who was Nesta's anchor and who was Elaine's anchor? And then another one for it could also be, though, that like why they would need to do the drop, Feyre, Nesta, and Elaine, is that their powers were bound at one point because of the whole mom being a witch theory that they maybe came from a different area. So I don't
It's
know.
possible.
But we just don't have an answer for who their anchors were if that was their
Well,
drop.
remember, everybody was in the room with them when they went into the cauldron.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
could it be because
Well,
could it
I
have
can
been
see, like,
Cassian? Could it
Nesta can do whatever she wants by herself. Like, she's strong enough. For Elaine, though, she still hasn't talked about everything that happened to her down there, so it makes you wonder, like, it is
what
very well that
happened?
she had yeah, she could have had some kinda tether, but she hasn't told any of us what that was yet.
Oh, yeah, because she's very, radio silent on any of her experience, and then she's kinda going about life like, "Oh, none of this happened."
Yeah.
She's but that's what trauma does to you.
Mhm.
You kinda some people don't deal with it, and that's where I think Elaine's gonna end up with more problems because Nesta, at the end, dealt with hers, you
Right.
know, at
Yeah.
some level. I'm not saying that she's overcome it or anything like that, but she's at least tried to do something with it, but Elaine hasn't done anything yet, so
Right.
I think it'll be interesting. But
And
now
I think they're all around the same age as Bryce too,
yes,
right? Okay.
yes, because Bryce is in her early 20s,
Okay. Yeah, so that I mean, that fits with all of them. They were all so close in age, Feyre, Elaine, and Anesta, so
and they were all together when they went
yeah.
into the cauldron and like, like we said, Reese would be Feyre's. I don't know. It's
Mhm.
it's an interesting theory to say the least.
Yeah,
If it's, we'll find out.
yeah.
But they said at the
And
what's that?
I'm thinking, what I wonder is if, like, Lucian was maybe a tether for Elaine, like, maybe she felt something with the mating bond?
Well, that could be
And like you said, Cassian was in there with Nesta, so very well could have felt some kind of pull from those
to bring
2.
them back.
Yes. Okay,
It's an
okay.
interesting
That
theory.
one's fun. Yeah, that one's fun.
It's interesting. But they said now there's implications, of course, of this into future books. Now, if the Archeron sisters did transformations, were formed in that of a drop, then they are not simply just made Fae. They're ascended from beings who crossed the line between mortality and pure magic, which could mean that also hints at their existence that there's a shared magic system between all the worlds, Prithian, Crescent City, the world of Throne of Glass. Feyre, Nesta, and Elaine may have, possibly, like we were saying, different anchors. Rhys being Feyre's, Nesta's possibly being Cassian, who grounds her power, because he does do that. And then, of course, maybe Lucian is Elaine's.
Yeah.
But the next crossover book could explore these shared transformation mechanics, proving that the cauldron and the drop are the two expressions of the same primal force creation. So maybe they're two sides of the same coin or two different
Mhm.
sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an interesting theory. But
Yeah.
what if the cauldron didn't just give them power? It awakened something that was already in them. I guess that would be the theory.
Right.
So, were the Archeron sisters actually the first mortals to survive Prithian's version of the drop?
And as you keep reading Crescent City, and once you get to that point, like, you'll have to
I'll
cite
let you know
that
my
part where
yes.
it says, like, was the drop just a complete illusion, or is that part of the magic system in Crescent City that they would still have to go through that?
I'll have to see as I get
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Because I have to say, I am enamored by, Crescent City. I have seen, a lot of different people, what they think of it and stuff, and I'm loving it so far.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I think you'll enjoy the whole thing. It's fun.
I think and it's not a completed series yet either, is it?
I know. Thought I saw somebody say she already announced another one,
Okay, so there's another book coming.
but
Because
yeah.
I
Or
don't
I don't
think
know if
it's
that was
complete.
fake. I don't know if
I
that was
didn't
fake
think it
news
was
or not.
I don't think it's complete, just
Okay.
like ACOTAR. Because
Yeah.
people were upset. Because one of the comments that people said, because the company or the publisher that publishes her book
Mhm.
unpinned her last Crescent or the last book in the Crescent City series
Yeah.
from their main page, and people are said they will be really mad if it's another
Yeah.
Crescent City book before ACOTAR book.
Yeah.
But I
I'd
think
be
we're gonna
pissed
get
too.
ACOTAR. I think we're gonna get ACOTAR before
Yeah.
we get the next one of that.
Okay, no, I don't think there has been an official. I think that was fake news. I mean, it's confirmed that it's going to happen, but I don't think there's been like a release date or anything or
Okay.
saying that it's coming before. Yeah.
But we do know it's an incomplete series.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, we'll see where that goes.
Well, and I don't even think we have like a set there's only going to be this many books because she said like I might come up with more stuff and just keep on writing. So,
So,
who
it might
knows?
go on for I mean,
Yeah.
Throne of Glass is what, 7 books?
Yeah.
Now she has completed it,
Yeah.
but would it surprise me that she might take some more crossover stuff and put it in another book or maybe even another series that's
Right.
intertied into all of these as well.
Right, because if you think about it, ACOTAR seemed complete with A Court of Frost and Starlight with Feyre and Rhys as far as they're involved. That kind of feels like a completed series
Mhm.
technically because then, Cassian and Nesta that starts like a whole new story almost with them. So,
Yes.
I could totally see her interconnecting more of the Throne of Glass characters in the future.
And, like, I still think where, it shows her little notepad and stuff, and I think that's 6 through 8. I don't think that's a 6 and an arrow. I think she has many planes, many plans, because she said it's like, planes lined up on the tarmac. She knows what she's doing, and they're all lined up in her mind. So I think there's a lot more for us to find out.
Yeah.
But now that was our little random stuff that we had, talked about in the last episode that we didn't remember or whatnot, and those little tidbits. Now we are going into, we're gonna dive into the Night Court in the mortal world's politics. Draken and Miriam, Vassa, Jurian, and the Mortal Queens, with their hidden agendas, their powers, and how it all ties with the inner circle and whatnot. Now, the first one that we're going to talk about is Draken. Is that how you pronounce his name? Draken?
Yeah.
And
Draken.
Miriam, because I never pronounce people's names correctly. We're doing all right. Now, they're mentioned in ACOWAR. Okay, that's the ones where you will see them. From chapters 68 to 71 is the original account of them. Okay. Now, Miriam, you said now we know she was half mortal, did you say half fae?
She was half fat, half fae, half human. Yeah.
Okay. And Draken was a winged fae lord,
Mhm.
which were key. He was a key. They both were key figures in the war against Hybern centuries before Feyre's story even begins. So that's like 500
Mhm.
years before ACOTAR starts.
Yeah.
Um, they fought to protect the humans and the Fae alike, becoming symbols of unity and rebellion. Now,
Mhm.
during the war, Miriam was mortally wounded, stabbed by Draken's ex-fiancée with a poison spear, which was Amarantha's. Is that Amarantha's sister, or is this someone different?
Um,
Because Jurian had Amarantha's sister. He seduced her.
but he was in love with Miriam.
Yeah, he was in love with Miriam.
It was a whole twisted
Oh,
thing because
yes,
Draken's fiance tried gifting Miriam to him as like a slave. And
that's
he was
right.
disgusted by that and was like, I don't want anything to do with that. And like broke things off with her. Miriam is with Jurian at the time, but then Draken and Miriam end up falling in love with each other behind Jurian's back while he's
Yes.
seducing what's her name again? Clythia?
Yes, that's, Amarantha's sister.
Yes, and then that's where that whole
It's
Jurian subplot starts. Yeah.
so the one there that Draken was his ex-fiancée woman, she
Mhm.
stabbed Miriam with a poisoned spear. Now,
Mhm.
Miriam died en route to safety. Now, Draken was devastated and took her to what was that? How did you pronounce their little island?
Cretea.
Cretea. Cretea. Because when I look at it, I'm just like, I don't know. But it's a
Yeah.
hidden island where a powerful magical object was kept. Now remember,
That resurrected her.
this is not the death trove or the dread trove or death trove, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
This is a whole, and this is not the cauldron. So this object was created though by the cauldron, I guess, but it's not the cauldron itself, and it's not one of the trove items. But Draken used this object to resurrect Miriam and made her truly immortal, transforming her into full Fae. So her humans she kind of mirrors kind of like Feyre's kind of thing, and Elaine and Nesta. Their humans, part of them no longer existed. But after the war, then of course they faked their deaths, retreated to that island to live in peace, and basically they became a legend
Mhm.
because only a few people truly knew what happened to them.
Right.
So, what do we think of what is this item that brought her back?
See, that's a great question. I wonder if it is any of the ones that we've already seen, or was it the horn that ends up in Crescent City? I don't know.
Now,
It doesn't say
me
specifically.
didn't you tell me before the horn is something that opens portals,
Yes.
but could it bring someone back from the dead?
It makes me wonder, maybe combined with something else. Yeah, I don't know.
Mm, that's interesting
Because it
because
wouldn't be the mask.
it's not the
It
harp
wouldn't be the
and it's not the crown.
what does the crown do again?
It brings it makes zombie people. Remember when oh no, the mask is what brings
The
the zombie
mask.
people.
Yeah.
Is the crown, is that what does mind control? Because isn't that what the queen had? Because she had the crown, and that's what was controlling all of Autumn Court's soldiers and stuff. Was that what it
Yeah.
did?
Yeah, it might
I
be.
think it's mind control.
Okay.
It's
That makes
mind
sense. I
control.
forget, but that makes sense. Yeah.
I don't remember, what did the harp do?
Because that's all in the harp can, like, I feel like it can transport them.
Oh, maybe so. Because remember when Nesta touched it, she could see other things. Remember, she could see the fourth uh, dread trove item.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
You'll have to you're getting to that part because
Yeah, I'm
what
getting into
are you
Silver
on?
Flames now. Or
Oh,
actually
okay.
I'm still in Frost and Starlight.
Okay. So you're
Um,
getting close
yeah.
to it. Now, Cretea, though, we know is now this is a theory. They think that it's a magical nexus. The island may be more than just a sanctuary. It might be a magical epicenter housing ancient relics or even a portal between realms. This theory ties into the idea that Draken and Miriam are guarding something bigger than themselves. That's why they went there and they hid. And remember, they keep that area that it looks like nobody is there. Because remember, they went there and it looked like it was abandoned, but
Right.
they
Because they
had
had
that
yeah, they had
veil over it.
mhm. Okay, I looked it up for the Dread Trove before we get too
Okay.
far away. The crown controls minds. You were right. The
Okay.
mask raises and controls the dead. The harp opens portals and alters reality. That's how she altered Feyre's
Okay. Her
womb
body,
or
her,
her no, I won't say womb. Her ovaries. I don't know, whatever.
I think it was
Um
like her
her
pelvis,
anatomy. Her anatomy, yeah.
because she had
And
to be able
then
to push a wing out.
yeah. And then the horn opens rifts between worlds. So I don't know what the difference is between a portal and a rift, but that's what the horn
Hmm.
does. Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe a portal transfers you around, like in the world you're in, and a
Yeah.
rift is between actual worlds,
Okay, here
like
we go.
separate worlds.
Yeah, the harp's abilities opens portals to different locations and realities. and transfers objects and magic and alters environments. The horn opens rifts between worlds, a power similar to the harp's ability to open portals, but it is made from materials from the Fae's homeworld. Huh, I don't know.
It's
They're
interesting.
kind of similar. Yeah.
Well, of course, some people believe the object that Draken may have used or may have been lost or undiscovered trove item, and that could
A
be
fifth.
also linked to healing and a resurrection because it obviously brought her back from the dead.
Yeah. Could be a fifth item that we don't know about yet.
I don't know. And they said it could resurface, of course, in future books, especially with the crossover with Crescent City deepens the magical lore. But it's
Yeah.
interesting.
And
I
you
don't
know
know.
what else I wonder? Because Miriam and Draken, when they went to that island, it was so that their people could live together in peace, right? So that
Yes.
means humans and Fae alike. But it does make me wonder, is everybody that went to that island, are there still humans or have they all kind of intermingled and are they all Fae or have some of them
Mm.
died off? Like I have a lot of questions about what's going on their little island.
Yeah, because if she's immortal, he's immortal,
Mhm.
and they have all their people there. Yeah, because are they all? Because humans wouldn't have, they wouldn't be living there for 500 years. Now, of course,
Right.
generations, but
Yeah.
I don't know how many of the people are there on that little island either.
Right.
I think there's a lot of questions that we have about that little island that
Mhm.
we only got a little bit of it, just at the end of Echo War. Because I don't
Okay.
think we mentioned them anymore in Silver Flames or anything. I
Yeah.
think Echo War was the last time that they're mentioned. So maybe there is something a bigger piece to the puzzle.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is now they're saying that Draken's magic, it's possibly that he's cauldron touched. Because remember, he predates he's quite old because he's more than 500 years old because because he was already grown and he was fighting against the King of Hybern. Some speculate that he himself may have been altered by the cauldron, giving him access to magic beyond normal Fey abilities. His
Okay.
ability to wield the resurrection artifact, because that's what we're going to call whatever that is, might hint at a deeper connection to the cauldron's sentience.
Okay.
I don't know. Now,
Yeah.
then there's this theory. Now, remember, because this kind of takes me back to Stephen King and Pet Cemetery. Because Pet Cemetery, when you take something and you put it in the ground, it doesn't necessarily come back the way you put it in, kind of deal.
Mhm.
Now, there's this theory. What if Miriam's resurrection wasn't perfect? There's a dark theory suggests that her resurrection came with a cost, perhaps either emotional detachment, memory loss, or a hidden curse. This could explain their isolation and reluctance to rejoin the political world. If there's something more, because there's some reason why they're hiding. I mean,
Mhm.
if she's full whatever and she's with him, Jurian, I mean, I understand Amarantha stuff was happening and
Mhm.
stuff, but that, all came to an end, but maybe they were just so isolated from everybody that they didn't know I don't know. I think there's
Yeah.
more to that story.
Yeah. And I mean, they had heard about or they thought that Jurian was looking for Miriam, right? Because he came
Mhm.
back after he's resurrected and
'Cause what is it? Mora always had contact with them, correct?
but then why was it so hard to get a hold of them? Because Rhys went to look for them, so Moore couldn't have had contact with them.
You have to do you remember it saying? Because how did they get a hold of them?
I think that they see,
Because
I
I
don't
remember
know. Maybe
someone
they
went there.
have well, yeah, Reese went there and he thought that it
Okay.
was desolate and that nobody was there because they
Yeah.
had that veil over it. So it makes me wonder if Draken in his own legion has scouts that go out and they start hearing murmurings about
Oh,
Jurian.
okay.
It must be that, and so they somehow got the information that a war was coming and then they showed up
Okay.
because
We'll have to look.
nobody was able to find them.
Okay. We'll have to look and see if there is a specific how did they find out? But now the other question is now, since I'm reading Crescent City, they're saying is what did you say, Kratia? Is that what you said? Why am I
Cretea.
Kratea? Why am I mispronouncing it constantly? Kratea, is it possibly a bridge between Prithian and Midgard? Could that be? there could be a moment there. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
find it
say why
I find it
not?
interesting.
Yeah.
Now, the next one we're going to talk about is Vassa. That is the Firebird Queen. Now, she was queen of, now, how do you pronounce that world that she was in? It's Scythia. How do you
I would
pronounce
say
that?
like
Scathia?
Scythia, because I think there's a Pokemon that's named Scyther and it starts with that.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
Scythia? I'm gonna say
Scythia.
Scythia.
We're going to go with that. Scythia. And she was one of the mortal, of course, again, she was one of the mortal queens. Now, she was sold by her fellow queens, of course, to Koshi, who cursed her to become a firebird by day and a human by night, which is quite, that would be an awesome thing. I understand it's supposed to be a curse. Think about
Yeah.
that, though. You could be a firebird, you could fly
Mhm.
wherever you wanted during the day. I'm assuming it comes with a lot of perks that you can do a lot of interesting things, and then at night, when you're tired, you're
Mhm.
just your normal self. I think it's
Mhm.
interesting, but she doesn't
Yeah.
seem to enjoy it. But she does have magic. We know she can winnow, of course, control fire now because she's a firebird, and she might be possibly more, it might be more from her firebird form. Now, we do know her role in the world, or in the war. She helped defeat Hybern, and she did prove herself as a very important ally, but she lives down there. Remember, they're the little band of misfits down by the Mortal Lands. She's with Jurian and Lucian.
Mhm.
Oh, they call themselves the Band of Exiles.
Yes.
I don't know. There's like theories with her. Now, is she a phoenix? This is the theory. Or is she something more? While she is called a firebird, fans speculate that she may embody phoenix like magic, which is death, rebirth, and transformation. Some believe her curse is a metaphor for the suppressed power once broken, and she'll ascend into a new magical tier. What do you think on that? Do you think she's a phoenix? My nose keeps itching
Yeah,
for
I
some
mean,
reason.
I think that that's, like, what we can call her, but it doesn't seem like she wants to stay that way. She wants her curse to be broken so she doesn't have to go back. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that sounds alright to me.
Now, her curse now
Works.
is tied to the Now, do you think her curse is tied to the cauldron or a dread trove item? Koshi, of course, is ancient and powerful, and he himself might be tied to the cauldron or other trove items. Because remember, we know the trove items are old. He's really
Yeah.
old. Maybe there's a theory that her curse may be broken only by the fourth trove item or a sacrifice involving the cauldron echoing Miriam's resurrection arc.
Now this one, I have something that I think might link in with it because I don't know if like the trove items, those might be something separate. And maybe then there's like more magical items that might be some part of some other kind of thing. I don't
Yeah,
know. They might be a trove of their own, right? So
correct. Yeah.
there's a part where remember, like she says there's other like Koshi has a penchant for kidnapping these young women.
Yes.
It's
It's
said. And then it
creeper.
also says, yeah, he possesses an onyx box that's more vital than anything save for the other girls that he has trapped there. So,
Hmm.
what is this onyx box that he has and what does that do? Is that where the curse came from? Like, what is he, or, is that cauldron? Is that trove? Is that something completely different?
It's interesting. I had
Yes.
forgotten that he had that.
Yeah.
So it's an onyx box.
An onyx
So
box. Yeah.
so
More
is he
vital
keeping
than anything save for the other girls that he has trapped.
so is this something, maybe that's where his magic comes from
Yeah.
this box? If it's more
And
vital to
then
him?
okay, so
Interesting.
you've met Lahaba, I think you say as how it's
Yes.
said. Okay, and she's
Yes, the little
adorable.
the little the little fire
A
sprite.
fire sprite, and we love
It
her.
I like how she has her fainting couch and she lays on it
Yes.
and she watches some very adult shows.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, maybe it's her family that he has trapped there along with Vassa because fire, right? But
Yeah?
then Elaine sees Vassa and she describes the other because I think somebody says, like, are they all like her? Or like, are they all made of fire? And she says, no, they all have white feathers. So what is that about? Who are the white feathered people that he has trapped there?
Now, Draken, is he the one? Doesn't
Yeah.
his wings, they're white
Yeah.
feathers, aren't they?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Because and then oh, which one is it?
Yeah.
The other High Lord,
Thesson?
Thesson? That
Thiessen?
there we go.
Thiessen?
Because
Thiessen? Thiessen?
his partner
Uh-huh.
doesn't he has white feathers in that because he's from a different type of fae. They don't have the bat wings, they have the feathery wings.
Right.
So I
They're more
wonder if
like
it's some
the
of
angels or the yeah.
that kind of people.
Mhm.
Interesting. Maybe and
Yeah.
see, maybe that's where it might tie with Crescent City because there's the angels and that with their feather. Maybe they're those same kind of people, except in Crescent City they call them angels, and then of course
Yeah.
in Prithian they call them something else. They do call
Yeah.
them something else in Prithian, but I don't remember what they said.
I know, I can't remember either.
I'll have to
Yeah.
look and see what that's a write that down as a note. We'll look that up.
Okay.
Now, then they also said then there's a Lucian and Vassa. Okay. Could there also be a power couple together? Their slow burn friendship has sparked theories that Vassa and Lucian could become co rulers, specifically if Lucian becomes High King of Prithian. I don't know though if I don't foresee Lucian becoming the High King of Prithian. I just
No,
don't see it.
and remember there's a part where they say like, Rhys makes some little comment about how Eris is pissing him off and Lucian may be closer to his father's throne than he even expects. I don't see him becoming a high king. Maybe a high lord,
I
not a
think
high
he might
king.
become I think it's very possible that he might take over for his true father if something does happen to Helion.
Yes. High lord, not high king.
No.
No.
And but they said though they're saying they're dynamic blends of fire because they're both fire because
Mhm.
that's Lucian's power. She's fire, and that's mortal and fey, exile and royalty. It could be a perfect balance of power. But
Yeah.
again, even though it's an interesting thing, it's possible. Then there's also, of course, Vassa's curse is a mirror of Elaine's fate. Elaine once described, the firebird imprisoned with other girls, like you said, over the
Mhm.
water, possibly a vision of Vassa, but
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Now, the next one we want to talk about is, of course, the man that was an eyeball, Jurian. Again, I don't think he has a belly button, but just don't, because it doesn't make sense. If he's getting all recreated, why would he have a belly button? That's my theory. But
Yeah.
he's the mortal, of course, we know he's the mortal general that just basically won't die. If in the first war, he was the mortal general who led the human forces against the Fae, he was fierce, strategic, deeply loyal to Miriam, who he loved. But then, of course, he had the betrayal in his death. He was betrayed by Miriam's former friend, which was Draken's ex fiance, the one we talked about. We have to look up her name because I don't know what it is. I don't know if they even say what her name is, but it handed him over to Amarantha, who killed him and, of course, trapped his soul, inside the ring. His trapped conscious, though, think about that. He was trapped in that ring for centuries. It
Mhm.
wasn't just the 50 years under the mountain. He was trapped in that ring for centuries on her. And of course, she had his finger too around her neck. But he, of course, remained alive inside the ring, aware, suffering, and
Yeah.
unable to die. And then in A Court of Mist and Fury, the mortal queens asked the king of Hybern to resurrect Jurian
Mhm.
using the cauldron. His body was rebuilt, no belly button. His soul was restored.
Yeah.
Now, he could possibly be on a redemption arc, but, at first we thought he was going to be a villain, but then he turned
Mhm.
out to be okay. But I'm still not sold that he can't be a villain yet because I think he has a lot of a business that he has not finished yet.
Yeah. 'Cause he's played double agent a lot. Like, I'm on the side where I think that he's good. I like that you think he's a villain still or can be a villain. Just based on what I read in ACOTAR about him, I feel like he's good, but like I said, double agent. He played Hybern, he played, he's played both sides. So it's very hard to know what his end goal really is going to be.
And plus, he does know that Miriam is alive. He knows that because of what happened in Echo War.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Although Moore is the one that advocated for him because Miriam and Draken were gonna go after him in ACOTAR
Mhm.
at the end of all of it, and, Moore is the one that stepped in as, our truth teller,
Yeah.
or the truth, not truth teller, but
Whatever her power of truth
yeah,
is.
yeah, because
Whatever that is.
she was friends
Yeah.
with all of them, and so she
Yeah.
stepped in on his behalf, so I feel like I don't know, I feel like he's good.
Well, you gotta remember though, he was resurrected. Now let me ask you. Now he was resurrected by the Cauldron. We know I mean, is he immortal now too?
He still had round ears. I think he's human.
So it just brought him, resurrected him all these years later. So
Yeah.
he could die, or he's not immortal. That he's going to live for hundreds of years.
Yeah, I don't think he's immortal.
Now they say that of course, he mirrors Nesta. They both were broken, reborn, and misunderstood. Fans see him as a mortal echo of Nesta's arc, rage, trauma, and eventual healing process. So maybe we are seeing his healing process. But then there's the theory, of course, that he still loves Miriam. Though she is with Draken, some fans believe that Jurian's feelings for her remain unsolved, and this could lead to emotional tension, sacrifice, or possibly a tragic choice in future books.
Yeah.
Then there's also, they think, because of all this, that maybe he is going to lead a mortal rebellion. With Braylon dead, Koshi rising, Jurian may become the mortal warlord again, leading the humans against the corrupted queens and rogue fae.
And that one has merit because he goes off with Grayson and whatever his dad's name was again. I hate that guy, so I don't remember. But yeah,
I mean, he is strategic.
yeah.
And so, I mean, it does make him a natural leader and he could possibly do that.
Hmm.
But, despite his rage and everything he has going on, he does speak hard truths, making ethical choices, but he may become a key advisor or a general in the next war because I'm sure there's some other war going to be, well, we know something's coming because of Koshi,
Hmm.
especially because Lucian is his friend. If Lucian rises in power, maybe he'll
Hmm.
be like his second or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. These are the things with Jurian. Now, is Miriam possibly his mate?
No, because Miriam and Draken went through their whole mating, like they ended up being mates. So I say nah.
Is it because though that he resurrected her and that's what caused that to happen? I don't know.
Well,
Some fans,
I don't know, because humans don't have mates. So, I mean, I guess they could, but
I don't
I
know.
don't know. I don't like that
Well,
one.
some fans speculate that they were mates in a past life, or that Jurian's soul is tethered to hers in some way that transcends a romantic fulfillment. I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see how that plays out. Now, of
Yeah.
course, Elaine, there's a theory that Elaine is, of course, Lucian's mate, but maybe she is going to reject that and suggest that maybe Jurian might be her.
I don't even
I
remember
don't
her showing interest towards Jurian to even go that far. That's a reach.
I think that's a reach, but they said he's
Yeah.
blunt, he's grounded, strategic, and that could balance her softness and her seer abilities, is what people are saying.
And
And then,
he's a human that is willing to be with Faye.
yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
possible.
Yeah.
Then there's also the possibility that he might end up with Vassa, that their alliance in the mortal lands has sparked speculation that they are having a slow burn romance.
That one I like a little bit more. That one could happen.
They both are cursed, they're strategic and fiercely independent. So maybe it'll evolve into something deeper.
And they're gonna be spending more time together until she is basically compelled to go back to the continent. Does he go back to the
Yeah.
continent with her? Yeah.
Now, then there's also the possibility that there is an unknown character that we have not met yet that might be his true love interest.
Okay.
So and it could be a mortal rebel, a fae, or it could be someone tied to Koshi's downfall, or it could be somebody maybe that's with Koshi right now.
Okay.
That's that possibility. So, with Jurian's resurrection by the Cauldron suggests fate is involved. And in ACOTAR, fate is often means mate bonds. So that's why they're leaning towards that he's tied to somebody. So I don't know. And then now the last thing we're going to talk about is the mortal queens. Who's alive, who's dead, and what fans believe. Now, of
Mhm.
course, Vassa, we talked about, she's the firebird queen. She's the one that's trapped with Koshi, in that agreement with him.
Mhm.
Braylon, we talked about her a little bit. She's the one that was the corrupted queen. She was killed by Nesta in a court of silver flames, but she was aligned with Koshi. She used the crown to control minds, and she became all withered and stuck because she wanted to be beautiful and be immortal like the Archeron sisters, but the Cauldron knew that it didn't give her that. And so she was
Mhm.
very mad, but she's dead, 'cause, Nesta did that. Then there's the
Yeah.
one that we don't have her name, but she was the sympathetic queen. We know she's still alive, possibly hiding, but she helped Feyre and Rhys by hiding the Book of Breathings under her throne.
I thought that was the Golden Queen that left that.
I think this was the older one because she was with the Golden Queen. Or maybe the Golden Queen did it while she was there and saw it.
No, the Golden Queen was murdered by the Adder because she left the Book of Breathings
That's
and read the Hope.
Demetra. Demetra is her
Demetra.
name.
Okay.
Demetra. Oh, okay.
Yeah, then I
Oh,
don't
yeah, no,
know.
she left half the Book of Breathings and a letter of hope. She's the one that did that. I have a note there. So
Okay.
this one here, maybe she just oh, yeah, because she didn't know that the Golden Queen left the books, because that's why the queens betrayed her
Yeah.
and let the Adder kill her. But
Yeah.
still, she's still out there. That one's still out there. And then
Yeah.
there's another complicit queen. She participated in Vassa's betrayal, and she
Mhm.
showed no remorse.
Yeah.
So there's something with those two, even though they're not named. I don't trust them. They're still out there.
Right.
And then Demetra is the Golden Queen. She was murdered by the Adder for aiding Feyre and Rhys. She left the half of the Book of Breathings and the Letter of Hope. There's theories with her death that it was a martyr moment. It galvanized the Night Court. She may have had a prophetic insight or deeper magical knowledge, and that's why she did it. She knew her end was coming, and
Yeah.
she knew she had to help them. So these are the overarching theories of fans. The mortal realm is on the brink. With Braylon dead, Vassa in exile, and the remaining queens may be fractured or vulnerable, setting the stage for a mortal uprising or a High King arc. That's where they're saying like Jurian's gonna lead the rebellion or whatever.
Yeah.
Koshi's grip is weakening. Fans believe Koshi's power is tied to the Dread Trove. With Braylon gone, his influence may be slipping, especially if Vassa's curse is broken. Then Elaine's visions are possibly key to all of this. If her seer abilities may be linked her to Vassa's curse, the surviving queens, or even a location of another hidden trove item.
I think Elaine has a lot of insight into what's happening with the queens, and I think she is going to be like an integral part in that because remember she sees the young hands turn withered. That's how we know about the one queen being turned into a crone.
Yeah,
She sees Vassa or she hears like the screaming and the agony and she sees the firebird and like the fire melting into the snow. So I think that I think that she is going to have a lot more when it comes to reaching into her abilities and finding where they are for whatever this next quest is going to be in the next books.
I agree. I agree. And then of course they say like, with the remaining queens that are left that there's a rebellion that's brewing. Some fans hope for a redemption arc where one or more of the queens turn against Koshi,
Mhm.
possibly teaming up with the Night Court or maybe with Lucian's alliance because he's down in the Mordor lands.
Yeah.
The surviving queens may form their own court, they said. And they said, now this is what fans are theorizing and said it's the Court of Ash and Embers.
Ooh, symbolic of the phoenix.
And then, of course, it might also be a possibility with the Dust Court rumor reignited, possible rebrand of the Mortal Lands.
Okay.
So I don't know. I
Yeah.
think it's all very interesting.
Yeah. Now remind me, I wonder, you know how like when some of the queens show up and then they say, "Oh, the one is sick and she stayed back." Is that about Vassa or is that about an unnamed queen? I
There's
forget.
there was what, six queens,
6 queens.
five or six queens. There was Vassa. I think they said Vassa was sick. That's why they asked about her,
Okay.
and they'd
Yeah.
already sold her off to
And the
the
Golden
whatever.
Queen said, "Don't believe them. She's not sick."
Yes,
Okay,
and
that
the
must
other
be
ones
Vassa. Okay.
and then there's
They
Brielle,
said, like,
and
the
then there's the
6th
old ones.
queen. So, Vassa must be the 6th queen that they were referring to.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay, I don't trust those other mortal queens because
Yeah.
they turned on their own so
Mhm.
easily. So I
Yeah.
don't trust that they're not still messing with Koshi and
Right.
making bargains and deals with him. for themselves
Right.
because they were very, very willing to do it with the King of Hybern. Very willing, so why wouldn't they? I don't think they care.
Right.
Now, let's see here. Now, how does Draken, Miriam, and Vassa, the Mortal Queens and Jurians, fan theories intersect? Well, we've seen that there's a lot, every one of them, I think we're going to see that it's going to cause a crossroads. Everything that's happening with them, I think we're going to see something with them in the next book or possibly next several books. But I
I think
think,
so
though, if
too.
Jurian, I think he could shift power, though. If he decides to wage war, I think it's going to be him. I don't think it's going to be the queens. I mean,
Yeah.
they might back him,
I think
but
he might even be like posturing himself to become king or, like it may be the end of the mortal queens and now we've got a new ruler.
that's very possible.
That could
Well, and you have to remember the King of Hybern, as we've discovered, Hybern is an island. That's not his name, as we've
right.
discovered in our previous conversation. And his niece and nephew are both dead.
Mhm.
Now they said that was a sister, unless his sister is still alive. But maybe Jurian will go over to where Hybern is, and he could become the new King of Hybern, because
I don't
somebody
know
has
how
to rule that area.
yeah, I don't know how all the fae would react to that, but perhaps.
Oh yeah, because they're all Fae, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're not human. But he could over in the continent, though. I don't know. There's a lot, there's so many moving parts. There's so many possibilities of things
Yeah.
that that we don't know, that we keep speculating about. Now,
Yeah.
now book babes. Now, who do you think will rise in the night court in the mortal politics? What is your hot take on Draken, Miriam, Jurian, and Vassa? Tag us or DM us at 2girls1TBR, and we'll read your thoughts and on the next episode, like we have been with the anger of Nick.
Yes. But if you actually give us like legit information, we would love to like put your name out and be like, "Hey, this person at this handle gave us this information and that's great." But a lot of the ones that we've gotten so far have been kind of hateful. So, or not hateful, but like just sassy and mean and like, I don't know, just kind of rude.
A lot of people consider everything we're saying that these are our truly our thoughts, but these are
Yeah.
just, this is a collective from all over, from Reddit,
Yeah.
from just when you're
Yeah.
looking online.
It's
People have
supposed
a
to be
lot of
fun.
theories.
Okay?
This
It's
is
supposed to
fun.
be fun.
I've enjoyed this. This has been super
Yeah.
fun. So
Yeah.
this has been ACOTAR Episode 5, a deep dive into the Night Court in the mortal worlds, politics, hidden agendas, fan theories about Drake and Miriam, the Firebird, Queen Vassa, the Mortal Queens, and Jurian. All the drama that keeps Prithian on edge.
And tag us at 2girls1TBR or drop your theories in the comments. Who do you think holds the real power in the Night Court and Mortal Worlds? We're dying to hear your thoughts.
And don't forget to follow and subscribe to Two Girls, One TBR on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Audible, Amazon Podcasts, Pandora, and iHeartRadio. And of course, you can watch us on YouTube as well. And if you love what you hear, leave us a review to keep that chaos and spice coming.
Next time, get ready for the one with the found family feels. We're talking the book families that made us laugh, cry, and want to move into their fictional houses forever.
So until then, keep your books filthy and your TBR unhinged. Good night, book babes.
Good night.
Night.